How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another one of these videos that we're going to be doing here and on the YouTube channel for Bayou City Soccer. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Christian, and as always, I'm gonna, well, not always, but we're gonna knock out a little video. Today we are going to be picking our MLS bracket. We're gonna see who's gonna be playing who's gonna be champion of what, and who's gonna win the West. Who's going to win the West, who's going to win the East, and who's going to take it all home. So without further ado, let's jump on it and let's get crazy with these predictions. So let's go. All right, to begin with, we are going to start on the West Coast, and then we're going to jump on the East Coast. Obviously, I will try not to be as biased since I am wearing a Houston Dynamo jersey, but we're going to see what happens when we go through it. So first matchup of the night is going to be LAFC Vancouver. Vancouver coming from a 5-0 victory against Portland Timbers and the wild card play-in into the playoffs matchup. Interesting dynamic there. Vancouver was supposed to play at home. They couldn't. They had a motocross event, so then Portland had to basically be away at home. So it was a crazy dynamic. A lot of people thought that Portland, being the home team, was going to be an easy win for them. But unfortunately for Portland and all their supporters, the Timbers Army over there in Portland, that was not the case. Vancouver scored 5 goals, 3, if I'm not mistaken, from Gauld, a golazo, if I'm not mistaken, from White. And it was just a good all-around good night for Vancouver and the team coached by Steven Sartini. So without that being said, the number 1 seed, it is LAFC, who acquired that number 1 seed from a loss of the LA Galaxy to the Houston Dynamo on Decision Day. That was a crazy matchup that we got to witness here in Houston. So that was a pretty a pretty good turn of events, because that could have been something different for the bracket as well. That would have been LA Galaxy playing Vancouver, and LAFC, if I'm not mistaken, would have been playing Colorado. Houston would have been playing RSL. Seattle would have played Minnesota. Literally with one score, with one goal by Daniel Steres, everything got shifted and kind of messed up, and everything just kind of worked out this way. So let's start with LAFC Vancouver. I think LAFC will win it, so we're going to go ahead and click LAFC there. Seattle Houston is going to be a tough matchup, is going to be a good one. Seattle always had the best of Houston, is always getting the best of Houston. They're always beating them at home. When they come here to Houston, is always a really difficult time for the team that is now being coached by Ben Olsen. So it's going to be an interesting 3-game matchup, in my opinion. I think it's going to go to the 3rd game. And I think Houston is going to take it. I know that Seattle has been a powerhouse for years, has been a team that has been constant. You can't say the same for Houston, but Houston, I believe, in the last 2 years have put really good teams together. And I mean, last year they went to the final, the Western Conference final against LAFC, who later on, did they win? I think they did win, right? No, they lost to Columbus. So there's that, right? So they lost to a team that went to the final, then lost to Columbus. But it was a good team nonetheless, right? So I will go with Houston against Seattle on this one, just because I think Houston will have, in the long stretch, a better team in a way. Real Salt Lake, Minnesota. That is going to be an interesting matchup. Obviously, is number 4 and 5, I think, or maybe 3 and 6, because Seattle is 4 and 5 with Houston. So it's 3 and 6. Real Salt Lake, Minnesota. Real Salt Lake will be playing at home. That is going to be probably the strong suit for them. They are playing Minnesota. Minnesota is a good team. Even though they haven't had the consistency of having a coach, or at least they do have a coach, right? But it's been tumultuous, and a lot of people didn't think that this year was going to be a good year for them. They're able to fight it. They were able to pull it off. They were able to make it into the playoffs, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So I'm going to go with RSL on this one. LA Galaxy, probably one of the best teams in the Western Conference. one of the best teams in the league for sure. They're going to be playing against Colorado Rapids. Colorado is one of those teams that had really good stretches in the season, but then also some bad ones. But I think LA Galaxy on this one will go on just because of the quality of players and everything that they have. So it's going to be an interesting matchup there. But I think LA will take it in 2, in my opinion. LAFC Houston. LAFC Houston has been a great matchup for the past couple years. Houston has been getting the best of LAFC at home in Houston, in Los Angeles. Houston has been a team that it has been difficult for this LAFC team. I think this matchup as well will go to 3 game, or actually is a one game it would be at LAFC. This one's going to be really tough, but I think my heart wants Houston to win it, but I think LAFC will end up winning that one. LAFC at the end of the day will have the home crowd. They will have the Buonga, who I think makes a total difference. So I think he's going to be the deciding factor in that game. Even though Houston does have really good players that could, I don't know if decide games, and I think that's going to be the difference maker between those two teams. A team that has different makers like Buonga and a team that plays very well like Houston, but I don't think when it comes to the playoff has a definite player that can change games around or can turn games around. So I'm going to go with LAFC on that one. On the other side of that bracket, RSL will face LA Galaxy. Galaxy with the home advantage for being the second team on the bracket, or at least on the Western Conference table. Will take on RSL, and I think LA Galaxy will take that one as well. I just feel like at the end of the day they'll have a better team to compete against this RSL. That one will be a tough one for LA Galaxy in my opinion, but I think RSL will win it. And then we're going to have a really, really, really good matchup between LAFC, LA Galaxy at LAFC, just because of that goal differential literally at the end of the match. And that's going to be very, very, very interesting on that one. But I think my heart says LA Galaxy will be a team that is going to have everything against them, which is going to give them even more of a to win that game, even though it is going to be played. I think it's still Bank of California, maybe, I don't know, but the LAFC stadium will be a really good stage for El Tráfico, and I think LA Galaxy this year around will take it. So that is going to be my Western Conference champion. LA Galaxy will take it. That is going to be an interesting matchup to see. That one's going to be a great final on the Western side of things. So now let's jump on the other side, and let's start with Miami and Atlanta. So Atlanta is one of the teams that was in the play-in or in the wild card, or however you want to call it. They played Montreal. They tied in the 90 minutes, so they went to PKs. Atlanta ended up winning on that, but they're going against a star-studded team in Miami. Is it Miami FC? No, Inter Miami. Obviously, you have Suarez, you have Messi, you have Busquets, you have this guy, you have that guy, you have this guy, you have that guy. And I think overall, even though the names are great, and we tend to mention the big names, I think the other names, not to be disrespectful to the other players, but I think some of the other guys that maybe you haven't heard of as much have proven that they don't really need Messi. Miami doesn't really need a Messi in the field to win. But of course, if you do have Messi, it's a great day for everybody, right? To have the potential best player to have ever played the game on your side. So I think Miami will be taking that one. Orlando against Charlotte. Orlando, in my opinion, will be the better team. I think Charlotte is also one of those teams that maybe hasn't been as consistent throughout the year. But I think Orlando has. They do have a great coach, and I think it's Oscar Pareja, if I'm not mistaken. Colombian. I guess we can go there. As you can see, I know a lot about the MLS. But I think Orlando is going to take that one, and is going to be a Florida Clásico for the semifinal on that one. Cincinnati against New York City FC. That is going to be an interesting matchup as well. But I think New York City will be taking it home. On that one, there's not a lot for me to say on that. I don't follow the Eastern side as much as I would like to. Next year, hopefully that changes. But I think New York City FC will have that extra against Cincinnati. On the other side of the river, I guess, or not really, because it's probably going to be played in Columbus, will be Columbus against the New York Red Bulls, or Red Bulls New York, as the thing says right there. That is going to be a good matchup as well. But I think Columbus, being the current champions, being the ones defending the title, will have the one to take. As we move up on the bracket, Miami will be facing Orlando. They'll be hosting Orlando. Miami, once again, star-studded. Orlando is going to have a difficult time, in my opinion, going into Miami and beating them. I know it's a rivalry match. There's going to be extra components. But at the end of the day, I think Miami will have the extra to beat out Orlando in this matchup. And then Columbus will have to go to fight against New York City. I think New York City will have to travel though to Columbus. But New York City is going to have a difficult time, in my opinion, against Columbus. The trio of Columbus is insane. Cucho, Cristian Ramirez, Rossi has been a machine not to be messed with, honestly, in Columbus. And I think Columbus will be taking this one against New York City FC. I think I'm being pretty obvious on these. I think most people will probably be choosing the same things. You guys let me know in the comments who you think will be going to the final, and how your brackets look. And then we're going to have the Eastern Conference Final. I think what could be also, usually, the conference finals sometimes should be the finals, right? But obviously the way that the MLS is put together, the MLS is kind of constructed in a way, right? It gives you, obviously a final before a final. And I think Inter Miami against Columbus could easily be an MLS final. Could probably be a bigger game than an MLS final. Could be between either Miami or Columbus against LA Galaxy. And you could say the same thing on the other side. LAFC against LA Galaxy could easily be another final, right? Like a MLS title game or whatever I'm trying to say. That is going to be a tight game. Miami will... Man, this is going to be hard. Honestly, my mind is saying Miami, right? But I think Columbus has a lot of just really good players. As a team, they have been well put together. They have the coach, Nancy, which I'm forgetting his name. Alfred Nancy? Fred Nancy? I forgot his name. My bad. But Nancy is the last name of the guy. He is good. He's probably going to win, maybe most likely win Coach of the Year, if not Tata Martino as well. So it's literally best of the best. Two guys playing for MVP, Cucho Martinez, Messi. They're two going head-to-head for MVP of the season, the Landon Donovan MVP title. The two coaches are going head-to-head for Coach of the Year. They went head-to-head, I guess, per se, on the eastern side of things and the Eastern Conference. But I think Miami, at the end of the day, had better consistency. And I think in this one, they'll just have that extra, I don't want to say Messi factor, but I think the Messi factor will venture into this in some way or another. And I think Miami will take it to the final. So the final, as we have it, LA Galaxy against Miami is going to be a really, really good game to watch. I mean, literally, it couldn't be a better marketing game for the MLS. The MLS gods right now in marketing should be literally screaming out of their ears. You have one of the legendary, 13 original colonies teams, if we could say it like that, and the LA Galaxy against the new superpower, the new team that is going to try to conquer all, and now they've been invited to the FIFA World Cup, and now they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that. They're gonna host and they're gonna, you know, it's Miami. It's the new LA. It's the LAFC of the East type thing, right? And I think LA Galaxy will take it with the same mentality. Miami's going to throw everything that they have. And honestly, in my opinion, I think this game will be going back to the West Coast with LA Galaxy being the champion of the MLS Cup presented by Audi. So 2024 champions for me, in my opinion, as much as I would like the Houston Dynamo to win, in my opinion, will be LA Galaxy. Guys, thank you for sticking with me. Don't forget, go to the YouTube channel if you're in it. Don't forget to subscribe, like if you haven't the video, and leave us a comment below. Who do you think will win the MLS, the 2024 MLS Cup presented by Audi? I guess we have to say that. Hey, if you can cut us a check, let us know. But LA Galaxy was my pick. Who is your pick? Let us know. We'll see you in the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.